Let me know if you guys would like to see more videos on mirrors and whether you'd prefer to see kits or bulk installing or both. Just drop a comment down there, let me know, and we'll try to get some more of those recorded. I feel like I don't spend enough time showing mirrors, and mirrors, it's very, a lot of difficulty in a small package. How's it going? My name is Brent from Encore PPF and Tint, and today we're going to be installing paint protection film on the mirror, the side view mirror of this 2025 Kia K5. So it's a brand new body, and so we've got a brand new kit for this car. Now, unfortunately, this car specifically isn't in there. The G line is in there, or GT line, one of those is in there already, but it isn't really set up for this car. And I'm not sure all of the differences between the two because we haven't seen the GT line in here yet. But I do know that on this mirror, this one does have a camera in it, and the kit does not have a cutout for a camera. So we install this piece, cut around the camera. This piece fits on here really well. And then this top part here, I really dislike the kit that's in there. So we're gonna be bulking this top part because there's a gigantic seam. I'll maybe show it to you in the computer or something, but it's not gonna work. I understand why they did it, and that is because this is going to be a very difficult install. We're not going to get all of this without really overstretching the film. Now with this color car, I can make all kinds of mistakes and they're going to hide. But if you're doing this on black or something, you know, even red, it's really going to stand out. And so, you know, you're not going to be able to get full coverage on this. You're asking too much of the material. You're going to have failures. And so what there is, if you look at this, there's a seam in the material right there in the plastic. And so we're going to be trying to just basically get to that. And I believe for me, that's enough coverage here on the mirror. So let's go ahead and get started on this. Let's go ahead and let's see, what do we want to do first? Let's put this part on, then we'll do this part, and then we'll deal with this top here. Okay. So the way that I lined this up was going to be here on this front edge. And I basically just kind of got this into place without hanging over, held that, and then I stretched this into place like this here. And then with my thumb, just kind of made sure that we were lining up really good, or as good as we can. So something like that. And because I don't run with a ton of slip inside of my slip solution, I'm able to just kind of hold my fingers on there and get it to kind of tack in place, and then that didn't really work. Okay, it worked better on the last one. Let's go ahead and try this again. So I'm going to try lining this up. You can see we're hanging over here now. I did have to trim this front edge off here on the other side. So let's go ahead, stretch this into place like that. And then I'll go ahead and squeegee this part out like so. And then let's stretch back from there. So right there looks pretty good. And then now back over here, let's get this stretched into place. We want to get all this stretching done right quick. So I'm just pushing around the side. Let's get a little bit more slip solution in here. And let's go ahead and turn this mirror so we can see this a little bit better. We want to get this stretched into place pretty quickly so that we don't end up with stretch marks in the adhesive when we stretch away from these areas that were already stuck down a little. Okay, so there we go. Go ahead and get this stuff squeegeed out so it begins to tack up. Squeegee this stuff down now. And then we'll deal with the camera here in a moment. Okay, so for down here, you know, it goes in and then comes down. And so I'm just trying to make sure that I get this like a recess in here. It's hard to get the squeegee to contour into that. We could try the red squeegee here that's a little bit more, a little bit softer, and make sure that we're getting everything squeegeed out of that recess there. Okay, go ahead and double check all this. That's all looking good. Now let's go ahead and deal with this area here. So I'm gonna go ahead and squeegee down right here, since that's sticking down really good already. It's nice and flat anyway. And then we're gonna put some tack here and squeegee around this camera. So obviously once they get this all figured out here and they get this car in there correctly, you know, you won't have to mess with cutting around this camera, and I'm sure it'll just fit on there real nicely. I'm still not sure what they're gonna be able to do about this top, because it, you know, it is just a very, I don't know, it's almost, I mean, it's just too much contour everywhere. The material's never gonna wanna do that. Okay, so we're down, we're on there really good. So same situation I had on the other side. I'm gonna have to just nip that end off just a little bit there, and then we're gonna have to come around this here. But I am gonna go ahead and let that set up and start drying. And while that's drying, let's go ahead and put this part on here. Okay, so you can see that there's a seam right here. It's actually, this is a piece and this is a piece. Now there's nothing, oh no, there is a piece for this and then there's a piece for this. So two separate pieces for this. We'll go ahead and start with this one and then put that one on. Okay, so this flat piece here follows this seam here. Okay, so I'm gonna line this edge up really good. And we'll go ahead and squeegee out on that edge. Okay, that looks good. Let's go ahead and get this underneath on there now. Well, I had a 50-50 chance of picking the right piece. Let's see if I got it. And I didn't even look, I just grabbed. Okay, that's not it. Okay, let's see. That's the one. You guys ever feel like your 50-50 shot is more like 70-30? That's how I feel about that. All right, let's get a little tack in there. Get that lined up into place. And then we can go ahead and squeegee kind of out here in the middle. And that should be good and stuck now, that since we've got some tack in there. And we'll go ahead and, did that just move forward a little? No, okay, good. Okay, go ahead and squeegee the rest of that out. Try out those edges. Take a look, make sure everything is squeegeed down well. Okay. Next, so now we need to do this top part. Actually, that's the next part. So, oh, you know what, while this is up like this and this is right in front of my face, let's cut around this camera here. Okay, I'm not sure that I got enough pressure on that, but let's find out. Not so far. Yeah, I don't like it. I'm gonna snip off a blade here. It didn't feel like it's biting real good. Okay, let's try. I'm gonna go from here, just go from this, basically the center here, over, around. Okay, let's see how that did. Good. Okay, and then we'll start right there. And we'll come around this way. Okay, I didn't quite go to the end there, so when we get to the end, we'll have to basically, I tore through the material at the very end. Okay. There is kind of a seam right here that's holding some air, but I don't think it's really a problem. I mean, it is holding air though, which is kind of a bummer. But you know, what can you do with those seams that they put in the plastic? Because it's not two pieces of plastic; it is one piece. It just has that seam in it. All right, let's lower this down and get to this part. All right, let's go get a piece of material, some leftovers or some scrap or something, and we'll see what we can do about getting a part on this. Now, I did try the other side like 3 or 4 times and finally got something that I liked. I just tried stretching it different, like stretching from both sides, tacking on here, stretching away from there. I tried quite a few things because I wanted to get something really good that was going to work obviously for the car, but then also something I could show you guys that is going to something that you could put on and have it last. It is a lot of stretching, so I would say the less that you cover of the mirror, the better. But because stuff comes in like this, I would really like to get like everything like that covered, and we're gonna see what we can do. Damn, get on off of there. All right, we are ready to give this a shot. So I think my favorite way that I came up with, just after trial and error, was just taking the film like this and then pushing down like that. That was my favorite. Okay, now in order to squeegee this out, I'm gonna need one of you to come hold this in place. All right, so I'm gonna just take my shirt or my chest there, Get that in place and hold that, and then we'll go ahead and start squeegeeing out. Okay. Unfortunately, I waited too long and I left up all those lines that you saw going this way, all left marks in the adhesive. So that's not going to work. We need to re-stretch this. No more screwing around, okay? We got to get at it. All right, let's redo this. Okay, so that looks good. And then let's see if we can get, nope, we just got to go for it and get it, squeege it out real quick before any of that starts to get some tacking to it. Okay, wow, that's sticking pretty quick. Nice. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is get some tack back in here so we can get this stuff to start sticking down around the side here. And then let's put just a little bit of tug here. Actually, let's see what we can do. Let's get this taken care of first, and then we're going to do a little something back on the back side there. Oops. Okay, let's get this squeeged out. Okay. So I'm going to just try to sneak out just a little bit more coverage out of this. Okay, just take it over as far as I can. Let's go ahead and get this pulled back, get some more tack solution on here, and then let's go ahead and just push this back a little ways so we can just sneak just a little bit more coverage out of this. Okay, so right there where we're ending now, right here is that line that I said I wanted to get just barely past. So if I can get that to all stay down like that, I'll be very happy with this stretch and with this install. Let's look over here. We are past this area as well, so that's good. All right, so everything is past. I want to lift this back up and kind of break up this finger here just a little bit and try to kind of spread it out so we can sneak just a tiny bit more coverage out of it. Something like that. Now it's looking good. Okay, let's go ahead and wipe this off now, and let's take a better look at this. I know I'm all up in your guys' way, aren't I? Oh, maybe I wasn't. We'll see. Okay, so we're plenty far enough over here. We're just barely not down quite far enough there. So let's get a little more tack in there. I'm gonna go ahead and grab the black squeegee now. It's a little bit more aggressive as far as pressure goes, so we really make sure and get everything pushed out, and it'll start tacking down a little bit quicker because we really got all the moisture out. Okay. All right, so we're far enough back that way. We're looking good all around this edge. Fantastic. Okay, so this is toughish mirror here, because the problem is that even though we got this down and we got this to stay like this, it can be a different story once you start trimming the edges, because once you release that edge, then it's very easy, if there's a whole bunch of tension on that edge, for that film to start to curl up, or little fingers start appearing, and that spot just basically kind of curls up off the paint. And that's a very easy thing to have happen when you overstretch the material and then expect it to stay down once you trim it. But we are going to let this sit and dry, and then I'll bring you guys back. We'll trim it, heat seal those edges, and then be looking sharp. Well, we may not look sharp, but we'll be at least looking protected. So this is the kit from the computer. So we've got really good coverage all around here, over, we're lined up well across this side. It goes all the way back there, which is some really good coverage. It gets a little wavy there, which is fine. It's not a big deal over there. This top is lined up very nicely, but this is the part that I have a tough time with, and that is the relief cut starts here and goes up like this, and then goes all the way back to the top here. I overlapped a little bit right here. That could just be an alignment issue, but what you're not going to be able to do is get this stuff to butt up really good, because we've got almost, I'd say, not quite a quarter of an inch there, and we're lined up at the bottom. So I think they just need to make some adjustments to this kit, and then maybe it'll fit pretty decent, and it'll be something that people can put on there and be happy with. For me, it's not there yet, and I'm not sure how they're going to get it there, just because this looks like a very difficult mirror to try and make a kit for. And so that's why we're just bulking this today. All right, it's the next morning. Let's go ahead and trim this out. So we've got, it's a lot of stretch, a lot. You know, it'd be a very good idea to wipe this entire mirror cap down with 70% rubbing alcohol, especially on the edges, before you did this install, because this type of install could fail real easily. Also, I've seen videos of people putting hot water on the material in order to get it to stretch more easily, and that could potentially be helpful, but at the same time you want to be careful, because the hot water can allow you to overstretch the film very easily, because it's going to stretch a lot. Let's see, how do I want to explain this? Because you only want to put as much stretch on this as you have to in order to get the coverage that you're looking for. And then sometimes I'll do something like this and I'll decide, no, that's too much. Like the film just doesn't want to do that. The edges are going to lift. And so, you know, we'll redo it with less coverage, and that can turn out to be the correct answer as well. But if you overstretch this, after you trim these lines here, the material will start to, you'll see the edges start to turn a little bit white, basically, and it's basically more just silver than it is white, but it'll make the edges more visible, and you'll be able to tell that the film is getting, it really doesn't want to stay stuck down. So that's just something to look for when you're doing these type of installs, because you really want to keep an eye out and make sure that you're not sending something home that's just going to pop up and come off. Okay, so I'm going to start here and come down just on the other side of that, the body or the line seam that's in this. And also know when you stretch this much, you know, you are thinning the film out. So you might even use less pressure to score the material. It's very easy to cut through when you stretch the material real thin. And there's going to be so much tension on this material that sometimes it'll actually tear itself because of the tension after you trim it, if that makes sense. Especially if you're getting pretty deep. So just be very light on the pressure. And while I'm cutting this, I'm noticing that I'm kind of watching I'm watching the tip of the blade, but I'm also watching like right here to help me line up for my cut. So I'm not just watching the tip of the blade, I'm watching just, or I don't know if that's ahead of it. I mean, so anyway, I'm watching like right in here how I'm lining up. So I'm not watching here so much. So just something to think about when you're trimming. Okay, not sure if I'm gonna be able to make this turn without, nope. Okay, I'm gonna bump into the car there. Actually, I can't see my cut line, so let's go ahead and see if we can get this to tear. I can see my cut line right here, so I'm gonna go just on that side of it, just barely, and then stick my fingernail into this and pull away. Hope I can get that to tear a bit. Not so much. Maybe I was going too light. Let's try this corner here. Come on, baby, break away for me somewhere. Okay, there we have it. Let's see if we can get this to tear. Or, yeah, I'm gonna try just tearing it. Okay, there we go. Okay, cut through the rest of this. Okay, so I'm gonna follow this right up with my finger and make sure this edge isn't popping up at all. Okay. So, hey there. So that my cut this way did not really make it all the way through, it's looking like. Or deep enough anyway. Let's see if it starts from down here. Oh, this one's working, okay. You know, we did bring the two cuts together there, so it's a possibility that that's what's causing that. Oh, nope, I just didn't get enough pressure in that section, obviously. All right, so let's try that again. I'm gonna give myself a new blade just to make sure we're getting a good bite on the material. Okay, right about there. Okay, there we go. All right, and let's try, let's see, what else? Okay, so we didn't make it all the way over there, but let's tear around to there. Then we can see where we ended. I know we gotta be getting close there. Let's see if I can see. I can't see a mark in the film, so that might be where we ended. And then let's go ahead. Start here. come back around. Okay. Now right here, we've got a little bit of adhesive on this edge. So I'm gonna go ahead and get, I mean, you can just rub it off with your finger a lot of times. 70% rubbing alcohol will also help take that off. And you always, when you're cleaning off that adhesive, you wanna go with the line. You don't want to do a lot of this back and forth across the line of the edge of the film. Don't want to do any damage to that material. It's already going to be upset enough having to do that stick. It's like, I barely want to hold myself down anyway. Now you're going to be trying to rough up that edge. All right, let's go ahead and heat seal this mirror, and then we should be good to go. Okay, we're just warming this edge up and pushing it down. If you notice that your glove is starting to get kind of sticky and not gliding real well across the material, then you're probably getting a little too hot on the material, too much heat, and you'll want to go ahead and get that heat gun away and let that cool off, and then you'll want to turn the heat gun down or move faster. Okay, now we'll go around on the edge. On this part, ooh, that's getting kind of warm. Let's get on down here, push this down so the whole edge is stuck down. Okay, and then we'll get all the edges on the mirror stock. Nice and warm. My hands are a little chilly. That feels good. All right, so that heat sealing process is really important when you're doing this much stretch on a piece of material, because it'll really help that edge stay down, and the heat really helps the film relax kind of into that position and gives it, like, that's its new memory, and that this is going to give it the best odds of staying down. Without heat sealing, the failure rate on something like this goes up substantially. Let me know if you guys would like to see more videos on mirrors, and whether you'd prefer to see kits or bulk installing or both. Just drop a comment down there, let me know, and we'll try to get some more of those recorded. I feel like I don't spend enough time showing mirrors, and mirrors, it's very, a lot of difficulty in a small package, right? It's like doing motorcycle parts. It's like, it's all these contours and bends in a tiny little package. It's like a big hood wrapped into a tiny mirror. All right, well, I appreciate you guys taking a look at this. If you found something helpful, please give the video a thumbs up. That really helps out the channel, and we'll see you guys on the next one.